Hello, garden lovers, and welcome to Marvin Gardens, September 2020. Yeah, we're still in 2020. But it's actually a gorgeous day here, and this is the beginning of autumn. The autumnal equinox was at 9:30 this morning, which is a little too early for me to actually shoot the garden video. But we're doing it now, and hi Frankie. Frankie's very interested in what I'm saying. So let's get started. First of all, let me show you. Oh, well, that was Cassie. She just slipped under the chair and walked away. But we're out in the fire pit area, and so we'll come over here to the herb garden, and looks similar to what it did last month. Our garlic chives are going crazy, blooming and seeding and everything else. And we did have a crop of what appeared to be parsley come up voluntarily, as if a seed pod or something was dropped by the plant down there. So I've also transplanted some of those to another bed just for grins to see what we get. And the German winter thyme has just been great all season long. We've been using it a lot, and it just keeps coming in. Back there you can see where I think I've planted a row of pond irises, but we'll see what they end up being. And if you look closely, what you're going to see there is not an herb at all, but a row of turnips. And I've gone kind of turnip crazy in the last month or so. I'll explain that a little bit later. Chives have been recently snipped off and harvested and used. And our Asian sweet Thai basil is doing great, and I transplanted the red basil that was store-bought and inside there, as well as one of the other Asian basil plants to another bed, which I'll show you later. But meanwhile, we'll head over here. And I will show you bed number 1, where again what used to be radishes here have been replaced by what I think is a row of pond irises, because they just come up all over the place. And the next 2 rows are carrots, and I haven't really been paying attention to them, but it looks like they're probably at least some of them are ready to pull. Let's see if I can get down there, and you can see that that's a pretty good sized carrot that's under there. If it's not warped underneath, we should be pulling those pretty soon. This is for the most part cabbages, and as you can see, other than they've been chewed up a little bit, they are starting to head nicely, all of them. So there's like about 8 or so plants there, and in between are some cauliflowers that aren't doing much of anything. And that's the same with these brassicas, and broccoli and cauliflower here. I seem to continue to have not real good luck with my second and third planting of brassicas. So, but the Brussels sprouts have been doing pretty well. We haven't been harvesting very much because there's no rush to pull them in. But as you can see, we got some nice stalks of Brussels sprouts, and so that's good. White flies have been battling all season. And they're not too bad right now, so I guess I'm a step ahead right now. Anyway, okra. These guys have just been amazing. This is the best okra crop I've had all forever, actually. They're easily 7 feet tall by now, and they're still producing very happily. It's been a great season. And this is scarlet runner beans, which we planted early because we didn't have our regular pole beans to plant. They were late in shipping. And they've been very, very slow, bloomed a lot, but been very slow in the bean production, but it's picking up now. So we've been getting a lot more bean production recently. There's one that's not quite ready, and another one that's not quite ready, but will be like in a matter of a day or so. There's Jolie's barking because Vanina went inside, and she wants to go inside too. And Cassie's just looking at us, wondering what the heck's going on. I still have not gotten any trailers full of manure to add to my compost here, but I've got a fair amount of vegetable matter there piled up that is at least composting. So, oh, and I always love to do this on the autumnal equinox, and that's show you that with the plane of the camera parallel with the west side of the solar panels, that sun is setting due west, and this is almost exactly the same time of day that we did this last year, because I just took a look at the last year's September, and it was the first full day of spring, but today is the actual start of spring. Now last month this was still pretty well populated with a lot of vines, but now you can see it's just well populated with a few good-sized pumpkins. I think what happened was I wasn't really paying attention, and we got a real infestation of squash bugs that quickly did in all the vines. So I harvested the two big ones on the ends there that were growing in here, and then the other two I just harvested from the asparagus patch. Unfortunately, those two have had some rodent damage, but they'll still be good for pumpkin pulp anyway, and pumpkin pies and all that good stuff. Now, these are the Vortex beans that were late coming in, so I planted them late. They're part of the August plantings. As you can see, they're blooming quite profusely. I don't really see any little beans, but they will be here shortly. And our summer planting after the onions are coming along well. This is that strawberry mix sunflowers. They're starting, I think. Well, can't really see buds yet, but there will be buds coming soon. You can see buds down here on the borage right there, and also some nice buds coming in. Have I got it? There we go. Yeah, on the calendula. And look at these guys. Wow, this is the first time I've tried turnips, and I've tasted them raw, and they're very mild, a little hint of radish taste to them, but I can't wait to bake them. And I think there's a crushed turnip baked recipe that I want to try with cheese and good stuff like that. But I'm having such luck with them that I've planted them all over the place in hopes of having more before we get to the freeze. Right next to them is a row of scallions, which are doing fine. And again, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Anise hyssop, maybe, flowers. They're kind of slow growing, but they're coming in fine, so we'll see what happens. And this is lemon gem sunflower, or not sunflowers, marigolds, which are little marigolds. Sorry, I had to adjust the camera a little bit because it wasn't aiming the way that I wanted it to. Anyway, those will be blooming shortly, and so far our spinach row looks pretty good here, although there is some yellowing, so I need to get in there and harvest a bunch of those. And we've got mixed results now on our summer squash. What happened was that I think the same infestation of squash bugs hit my new plants that I had just planted, and so this one, for example, just is just not doing much of anything. I'm just leaving it there because it's not dead. The scallop squash, however, the sunburst, they're doing fine. We've already gotten a bunch of them, and if you look down here, we do have one zucchini plant. No, well, that doesn't look very good, but if you look down in there, you can see I got one zucchini, and it looks like I got another good one coming in. So this plant might be okay, but only one plant each of the yellow and green zucchini. All three plants of the patty pan are working pretty well though. So that brings us along here to bed number 3, and as we noted last time, the bee balm is all done. It's just since the leaves are still green, there's no reason to cut them down or anything, but they're not going to look any better than they did back in July. And these eggplants, Barbarella, have been doing just fine. These are all little ones because we just harvested a bunch, which reminds me I've probably got a fair amount of harvest baskets to intercut. But right now everything is small, but they're still doing fine. And of course, they get heavily laden, so I've had to stake them up to keep the branches from breaking off. The peanuts, once again, very late in the season, last month and this month, have finally bushed out and really taken off. So we're hopeful that we're going to get a good harvest from that. Down here, I have planted another row of turnips that are coming up. We've got a couple of lettuce plants that aren't doing very well, and a row of spinach that is doing typically bad. And you might not be able to see very well, but there's a row of radishes back here too. I probably should just take down this screen here because I don't think we need that anymore, but I haven't yet. Now this looks like a vacancy, but I actually planted more summer squash here just in case we don't get a frost until very late, and maybe there's a chance that we might get one or two. Meanwhile, our sad remnants of tomatoes, I just left the ones that still had an ounce of green on them, and the rest of them I pulled, and the cages are sitting there waiting to be stowed for the winter. But I also, this is where in those vacancies, excuse me, let me get this turned around a little bit and down. That's where I did the one Asian basil plant and the red basil plant to fill the vacancies left behind by the tomatoes. another row of what I think are pond irises, and this is where I transplanted a bunch of the parsley that seemed to come up on its own. So we'll see how they do and thin them out if they are doing well. Meanwhile, I said I went turnip crazy because I'm kind of excited about how they grow, how fast they grow, and how mild they taste, and I'm kind of maybe thinking of them as a potato substitute, since I can't really eat potatoes much on my diet anymore. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of turnips, and this is where the ground cherries used to be, and they kind of died off suddenly. But I found a few volunteers, and I just transplanted them at the end of this bed. Not that I'm expecting anything out of them. Jolie is looks like she's expecting to find something somewhere, but she hasn't yet. Anyway, all right, on to bed number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and peppers, which have been doing just great all season, coming in steadily, and not too many oddball things like this guy here, which is just sort of dying back for some reason, which they tend to do sometimes. But look at the size of these Mad Hatters, just very big bushy plants, and we've harvested a bunch off there, so I can't really show you a good sample. Let me just walk around here right quick and see if there's some good ones to show you over here. There's at least some coming in orange anyway. Anyway, they've got that unique shape. They taste kind of like a hot pepper, but they're not hot at all. But you can see they're just all over the place, and just taking off like crazy. Now, as you recall, we planted leeks here. They are, coming along fine. I still don't know if we're going to get any full-size leeks before, we get a hard freeze. But they're doing fine, so can't complain. And these are actually garlic plants, the bulbs for which I missed when I harvested the rest of the garlic. And there's a few of those around the perimeter here. I hope you can hear me okay over the next door neighbor's tractor. He's decided to do some mowing tonight. Anyway, there's another garlic here and another garlic here. But back to filling vacancies. This is all where the summer squash, the first planting of summer squash, used to be, and that is a row of radishes right there, which are looking pretty good. Might need to thin them a little bit. This is again turnips planted a few weeks ago, as opposed to the ones that we just saw that were just a few days ago. And we've got the only lettuce seeds that I still had planted in this row. It's supposedly an heirloom cutting mix, but I think I see them coming up, but there's not much evidence of it. And then I tried sage again over here because I've just had such a difficulty with getting the sage to grow, but they are coming up at least, so that's good. Meanwhile, on the end of the grow house, these strawberry mix sunflowers are still coming in, although they're a little worse for the wear. And some of the giant sunflowers are still there, although I've harvested most of them. So, what's that? Okay, Vanina's going to the enchanted forest which he's been working on diligently for many, many weeks. And the forest is filled with solar lanterns, so it is rather enchanting looking. But let's us go out this direction and head for the asparagus patch and pumpkin patch. Here's our pumpkin vine, still got some healthy growth here on the end. But that little tiny pumpkin that we showed you last month has turned into a pretty decent sized pumpkin, and it's turning orange, as you can see, if I can manage to keep the leaf out of the way and show you. And you saw the two relatively good sized orange pumpkins that I harvested from back here today. And if you remember last month, there were two more little tiny pumpkins just starting that I didn't think were going to do anything, but they've actually turned into pretty good sized pumpkins. And you can see this one is starting to get orange, and this one is not far behind. So we may get 3 good pumpkins out of this, amazingly enough. Now here's the one summer squash that's still here, only because I just haven't bothered to take it out. It's a zucchini, and it's done for. It's not going to produce anymore, so I just need to get it out of here. But here is the asparagus patch. Hang on a second while Yes, sir, we make a lot of noise out here in the country. Anyway, in looking at last September's video, I'm now seeing that the asparagus has gotten much bigger and bushier than it did last year. And so that's very encouraging. And hopefully that will lead to a much bigger harvest next spring, because as you may recall, the asparagus, you just harvest it when it first comes up, leaving enough behind to grow and thrive for the following season. All right, so I have not shot any drone footage yet, but probably before I publish this I will, and hopefully times like this I'll be able to intercut some of that drone footage. Right, Chili? What do you think? Well, like I say, I hope my neighbor's tractor noise isn't too distracting. If it is, I'm going to have to come back out here and shoot this again. But that doesn't leave much to show you. Fire pit area. We've had some good fire pits, and we've had some outdoor family gatherings that make 2020 more tolerable. Did I leave you on this bench, boy? Here, let me lift you down. There we go. All right, so I'll take a quick look at the backyard. Cassie thinks we're ready to go in, but we're not. And a few leaves on the ground, you can see. Those are mostly birch. No, you stay. You guys stay. Stay. I'm out. No. Oh. All right, well, they're coming into the backyard because I couldn't get the defenses up fast enough. pond is looking just fine. A little overgrown. I need to thin out all those water hyacinths, but they've been blooming quite a bit in the last several weeks, all over the place. And of course, this is just the overspill. But I'll show you something that you'll only see in this video, and that's the lack of a deck right there. There used to be stairs and a deck going to that door up there. And then I'll show you the lack of decking back here, because, as you might guess, we're having the decks redone. Long overdue, maybe about 20 years overdue. Still have the pool up, but I don't think it's going to see any action, even though we're supposed to hit 80 in the next couple of days. The water's not going to get anywhere close to that, so it'll be coming down pretty soon. And of course, I had to take the spa down in order to clear the deck. But that's about all that's going on back here. Well, you can probably hear the crickets, which you can guess what time of day it's getting to be. I'm coming over here to mourn the passing of the only peach we had. Last month I showed it to you, and literally the next day it was gone. Someone had just plucked it and eaten it or taken it away, because it didn't fall on the ground or anything like that. So nothing in the nectarine tree, nothing in the pear tree. So golly, I think that's gonna be it. Kind of noisy in the background this month, but you guys gonna come? Come on, boy. But otherwise, come on. Come on, Frankie. All right, I'll just leave the gate open. Otherwise, it's just a gorgeous autumn evening. Actually, it's an autumn evening. The sun is now set, and I've showed you everything I can think of. So I guess the only thing left to say is this is just the beginning of autumn, but nonetheless, I hope your autumn is getting off to a good start, and that you're enjoying the cooler days and that annual change that we go through. Boy, that thing is noisy. And that's about it. So this is Marvin Gardens, September 2020. And like I say, I hope you guys are having a great fall, and we'll have a great fall. And we'll see next month in October, when it really kind of starts to turn into real fall, or the fall feel, and we get close to starting the holiday season, as you know. All right, that's it. We'll talk to you next time in October. Marvin Gardens, September 2020. Bye, everybody.